Bishop of Namirembe or the representative of the bishop, the chairperson of the founding body, the board of governors, the head teacher and staff, parents and representatives of other parents, students who are representing other students here, all invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you all. I am happy to be at Gayaza High School today to witness the restoration of this dormitory. For me, as others have said before me, this is an assurance from God that He is able to restore all that has been lost in these difficult times that we are living in. I call Him the God who builds again, the God who gives a second chance. He promises in His word to restore all the years that the locusts and the cankerworms have eaten. Being here today is testament of the faithfulness of our God. He who was able to save our children from the fire that gutted that dormitory, that none of them was hurt, is the same God who has restored the dormitory. He remains true to His word that when we go through the fires, we shall not be burnt, and when we go through the waters shall not overwhelm us. We, at the Ministry of Education and Sports, have seen His faithfulness amidst the adverse effects of the pandemic on our sector. Our children were able to sit and pass their national examination for academic year 2020. Our students on health-related programs who reported back to school last year in August were also able to complete. And so, on behalf of the Ministry of Education and Sports, I thank the founding body, the church. I want to thank the head teacher, Robina, and the school administration for making good use of the resources that were availed for the renovation of this dormitory and doing a commendable job. I want to thank the parents who participated in the work of this restoration of the dormitory. And I believe that what we see here comes from that cooperation. That cooperation is not common in many schools. We don't see the founding body, we don't see the parents. These days, our parents really don't play the role they ought to play in the whole country as such. We don't see the head teacher cooperating with all those components of the groups in a school. And when that cooperation is there, it makes work much easier. I believe that's why we see the miracle we see and we hear about Gayaza High School. So I want to thank all of you. And let me also use this opportunity to thank you, Gayaza High School, for training our girls holistically, training the head, the heart, and the hands. The moral decadence we are witnessing in society today has shown us that it is not enough to just excel academically. We need to instill values in our young people. It is these values that will enable them to be responsible citizens and to weather the storms of the tough times we are living in. Government is committed to improving the learning environment, and it has been my prayer. Every day, I pray for the Ministry of Education, and I pray for education in our country. And government is committed to improving the learning environment of our children in this generation. It is the reason it promptly funded, the government promptly funded this project to have some quality learning environment that is healthy, that is safe, and gender sensitive, and adequate accommodation for our children. I'm aware that Gayaza, like most of our traditional schools, needs urgent renovation. And I have seen the buildings as I was coming in. I see these buildings. So I'm aware that renovation is badly needed. Many of the schools around the country are in a dire situation. And I'd like to share with you our prayer and hope that Education and Sports has plans to renovate and rehabilitate traditional schools, and Gayaza High School is among the traditional schools on the priority list. We are really praying, and we are not going to stop until we see that program implemented, to have these beautiful schools that have done so much work over the years rehabilitated and given a new life so that they can continue to bless our children. I received your request for support towards the construction of a boundary wall to ensure the safety of the children. The Ministry of Finance was directed by the President to raise some 2.2 billion that you requested for. And I know that sometimes the government support takes so long. It has taken long, but it never fails to come. So be sure that that money will come, and by the grace of God, that too will be done. Let me use this opportunity to say something about the reopening of schools now. Please know that we all want schools to reopen because government does not benefit from the continued closure of schools. So why are schools still closed, you may ask? We want our children to be safe. That's the only reason. And people don't believe that, but that is the truth. We want our children to be alive because they have to be alive to be able to study. For now, as the President announced, the tertiary institutions will open at the beginning of November, and the rest of our learners in January next year. And I trust that God will bless that program and it will happen as we have said. The ministry is making the necessary preparations to ensure a safe reopening. We are appealing for your support and cooperation as major stakeholders in this exercise. We shall soon announce the selection dates for Senior 1 and Senior 5, and a comprehensive calendar will also be released so that schools and parents can prepare adequately. I know that the parents are anxious, and of course the teachers too. In the meantime, we call upon all our stakeholders to get involved in the education of our children while they are at home. Government has procured home study materials for all learners from primary 1 to senior 6 during the pandemic. Gayaza High School is among those to benefit from this initiative. That too has delayed, but it is on the way, and the children will benefit from it up until January. As we navigate this season we are in, it is very evident that we must embrace e-learning And so I commend Gayaza High School as one of the pioneers of teaching and learning online. And we applaud you for leading the way. In the same vein, I salute the board and the Gayaza Old Girls and the school administration for holding hands with us in maintaining this school. I have learned of the projects you have undertaken, like the construction of the administration block, like the supporting of the needy students in the surrounding primary schools. And so I appeal to all other schools, really, hearing and listening to my voice, to emulate this culture of maintenance. Please put in place focused programs and plans to maintain the school infrastructure, because government invests a lot of resources, but this goes to waste if not well maintained. And you know that we have not had a culture of maintenance of all structures, not just schools, but schools too. So I want to appeal to you to do what you can when you can. And as I told you, we are looking forward to a program that is going to enable us to really rehabilitate all these schools and expand them if possible. So finally, let me reiterate government's commitment to the education of our children and urge all of you to be instruments of hope as we await the full reopening of our schools. I want to thank you so much for being here today, for including us in this program of opening your dormitory, and God bless you.